The idea of reincarnation and people having past lives has always been a topic that interests me, and I've read so many stories across the years about people having experiences where they seem to be channeling themselves from another time. One of the coolest ones that I've read, though, has come from a man visiting Germany. Now, he had never been in his life, like ever. He wasn't ever interested in it, but I think it was like a school trip or something, and he just decided to go on a whim. They get to the location, we'll say it's in Munich, and as he's walking down the streets, he just keeps getting repeatedly hit with these feelings of deja vu, and he can't explain it. In fact, it's so bad at one point that it becomes disorienting. He can't explain what's going on. So they end up riding a bus to another location in Germany, and as soon as they get out, the feelings of deja vu start happening again and again. So they get to a point in the tour that they're on where the tour guide is talking about the area that they're in, and he starts pointing at different buildings, asking certain questions. Now, the tour guide is trying to stay on track with the tour in different speaking points, but every time the guy would ask a question, the tour guide would stop, and he would basically reaffirm what the guy was already saying. So the guy would be like, hey, was this a bakery? And the tour guide would be like, yes, it was. And then they would walk a few feet, and the guy would say, hey, at one point, was there a row of houses here? The tour guide would be like, yes, how do you know all of these details? Like, these are really obscure. You're not going to find them. And the guy was like, I have no idea. I feel like I've been here before. So as this tour continues, they're walking down these really old roads, and they get to a point where the guy is like, hey guys, we probably need to get onto the sidewalk. Well, not really a sidewalk, but just closer to the side of the road because this area always has loose cobblestone. But the tour guide's like, hey, it's actually really inefficient for us to go over there because it's going to take us out of the way of where we need to go next. So the guy's like, okay. And they start walking, and all of a sudden people start tripping because in that area that they're walking in, the cobblestone was loose. Now, this is something that the locals to this area know really well, so they avoid that spot. And had they been paying any attention, they would have noticed that people tend to go around. So the tour guide is like, wow, this is really weird. And he tries to chalk it up to a coincidence, but other people are starting to notice as well. But things really get scary for the group when they approach a clearing. Now, there was nothing there. Obviously, it's just an empty field, but the guy starts saying that he feels like something bad happened there. So the tour guide at this point is more curious than anything. So he asks the guy what he thinks happened there. And the guy is like, I just feel like there was a fire here and it burned down what could have been like 5 or 6 buildings. And the tour guide starts to smile and he's like, that is exactly correct. But again, you really don't know that kind of stuff unless you're a local. But that burning happened back during the Middle Ages when the plague was running rampant in that area. A lot of people died from it there. The tour guide then goes on to tell the guy that in the area that they were now standing, people used to light fires to keep their homes warm and to make the sick more comfortable. But one of the homes ended up catching fire, and of course, it spread pretty quickly, killing most of the people who were trapped inside of those homes. So the guy obviously was shook by that information. He still can't explain it to this day, but I want to know, do you guys have any experiences with people you believe are reincarnations of each other, or maybe you feel as though you've experienced a past life? Maybe you're just somebody who has a lot of deja vu. Either way, drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this story, and I will see you guys in my next video.